What if I told you that a single, unassuming plant used for centuries by forgotten healers could flip the switch on your energy, your focus, and yes, your performance in ways you never imagined? Picture this 7 days ago. I was dragging through my mornings, reaching for another cup of coffee just to feel alive. My workouts felt like chores, my concentration was slipping, and even simple tasks left me drained. Then I stumbled upon an ancient herb so obscure that most health gurus have never heard its name. It wasn't some flashy new supplement with a months-long waiting list. No flashy labels, no overhyped promises, just a tiny green leaf revered by traditional practitioners for its uncanny ability to awaken the body's hidden reserves of strength and vitality. Day 1. I mixed a pinch into my routine. By day 3, I felt a subtle shift. Mornings no longer felt like wading through molasses. My mind cleared and tasks that normally took me hours were done in half the time. But I didn't stop there. I dug deeper, learned how this herb interacts with our body's natural chemistry, and watched it unlock potential I thought was long gone. So here's the question. What if that same breakthrough could happen to you? What if in just 1 week, you could reignite the fire you've been chasing for years? No gimmicks, no magic pills. Just a time-tested herb that's been hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to notice. Ready to see how far this discovery can take you? Keep watching, because over the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly why this ancient remedy isn't just history. It could be your personal accelerator to new heights. The ancient discovery. Unearthing a forgotten secret. Long before modern labs and slick marketing campaigns, healers in remote mountain villages swore by one particular herb referred to in ancient texts as the strength of the earth. It thrived in rocky soil among whispering pines concealed from the world for centuries. Legend has it that warriors and elders alike credited it with astonishing feat stamina that outlasted battles, clarity that outwitted foes, and resilience that defied time. I first heard about it buried in a dusty manuscript written in the margins of a healer's diary dated over 1,000 years ago. Its scientific name almost impossible to pronounce. Its common name almost forgotten by history. But what caught my eye was a simple notation, used daily to rekindle what modern life steals away. Curious, I traced its journey from ancient scrolls to modern researchers who had begun to notice small but compelling studies. They found that this herb was rich in unique compounds that supported healthy circulation, balanced energy pathways, and helped cells communicate more efficiently. In other words, it could supercharge the very systems we rely on for peak performance. But unlike trendy supplements touted on social media, this wasn't some hybrid extract patented by a billion-dollar company. This was pure whole plant tradition in its fullest glory, picked at dawn, dried under the sun, and ground into a fine, unassuming powder. I managed to source a small batch from a sustainable harvest deep in the same mountain valleys mentioned in those old diaries. The moment I held the dried leaves in my hand, I felt a connection to generations of people who trusted this plant to carry them through life's toughest challenges. Over the centuries, it faded from common use, replaced by synthetic alternatives and bright lab-grown compounds. Yet in the shadows of time, it whispered its promise. Return to me, and I'll show you what you've been missing. That whisper led me to conduct my own experiment, because sometimes only first-hand experience can prove whether an ancient secret truly holds power. And in the next section, you'll hear exactly what happened when I committed to 7 days straight with this herb as my guide. My 7-day experiment day-by-day breakdown. Day 1 felt almost ceremonial. I measured out a teaspoon of the powdered herb, stirred it into warm water, and sipped slowly. All I noticed at first was a subtle warmth spreading across my chest, as if my body recognized something familiar, something it had missed. By evening, I caught myself moving through my routine without the usual drag. Nothing dramatic, but definitely different. On day 2, I woke up without that groggy haze. Instead of hitting snooze twice, I leapt out of bed energized. During my mid-morning meeting, my mind felt unusually sharp. I caught details I'd normally miss and even offered ideas on the fly. It wasn't a caffeine buzz or a sugar spike. It was smoother, more sustainable. Day 3 brought my first workout test. Normally, by set 3, my muscles start to burn with fatigue. This time, I pressed on through an extra 2 reps without shaking. Post-workout soreness was milder, like my muscles were talking to me saying, "Yes, that was tough, but we can handle more." By night's end, I slept deeper than I had in weeks. On day 4, colleagues mentioned I seemed more alive and focused. Outside, I went for a walk and noticed my breathing felt steadier, like my lungs and heart were in sync, each breath fueling the next. I jotted in my journal, energy 710, clarity 810. Small details, but compared to day 1's 4 and 5, I knew something was kicking in. Day 5 was when the real spark ignited. I tackled a project I'd shelved for weeks and finished it in half the time. I felt fluid in my actions, no mental stumbles, no mid-afternoon crashes. Dinner felt more satisfying too, as if my digestion was working better. Even my mood had lifted. I laughed easier, smiled wider, and felt the stress of the week slipping away. By day 6, performance wasn't just a feeling, it was measurable. I tested my plank time and held 10 seconds longer. My daily step count climbed by a couple thousand without any extra effort. Tasks that once felt uphill were now downhill sprints. I kept waiting for a dip or a letdown, but it never came. Finally, day 7 arrived, the apex of my trial. I reflected on the week over a morning cup, no jitters, no fatigue, just calm readiness. I pushed myself in the gym, impressed at how my body carried me through heavier lifts with ease. In conversation, I felt more present and engaging. My soulmate even asked, "What's different? You seem unstoppable." 7 days in, I'd gone from mediocre mornings and dragging afternoons to sustained alertness, strength, and mood. That tiny green leaf steeped in tradition had unlocked reservoirs I forgot existed. And this breakdown is just the beginning, because the science and synergy behind this herb reveal why these changes aren't one-off flukes, but a new baseline for peak performance. Science behind the herb. How it really works. You might be wondering, was all of that just placebo, or is there real science behind this ancient remedy? Let's break it down. Deep within each leaf of this herb are unique bioactive compounds, things like adaptogenic glycosides and flavonoid complexes that directly support your body's energy and circulation systems. First, these glycosides act like gentle messengers, signaling your cells to optimize mitochondrial function, the tiny power plants inside every cell. Think of mitochondria as your body's battery chargers. When they're firing at full capacity, you feel more energized from the inside out, without the jittery crash of caffeine. Next, the flavonoid complexes enhance nitric oxide production by supporting the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels. Nitric oxide is a critical molecule for vasodilation, that's the widening of your arteries and capillaries, so oxygen and nutrients flow more freely to muscles, organs, and even your brain. It's the same process athletes chase with fancy pre-workout mixes, but here it's happening naturally at a cellular level. Then there are adaptogens, plant compounds known to help your body handle stress. By modulating cortisol levels, they prevent the excessive stress response that can leave you exhausted and unfocused. Instead of riding the roller coaster of stress spikes and crashes, you maintain a steadier, more resilient baseline all day long. Lab studies have shown that regular intake of this herb increases antioxidant activity too. That means it helps neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells and contribute to fatigue and inflammation. With fewer free radicals doing damage, your body repairs itself more efficiently overnight and bounces back faster after physical or mental exertion. But what truly sets it apart is the synergy of these compounds working together. You're not just getting one isolated benefit. You're activating multiple pathways that converge on better energy, sharper focus, and improved stamina. In traditional use, healers didn't separate and isolate. They took the whole plant, trusting that nature's design would balance and amplify its own effects. Modern science is just beginning to catch up. Preliminary human trials report a 20 to 30% improvement in endurance markers after just 1 week of consistent use. Participants also noted mental clarity scores rising by double digits when compared to baseline tests. While more research is underway, the data we have aligns perfectly with my 7-day experience: smoother energy, clearer thinking, and more robust circulation. So when you sip that herbal infusion each morning, you're engaging in a finely tuned biological orchestra. Each compound has its part to play, charging your cells, opening your vessels, calming your stress response, and protecting against oxidative damage. The result: a body that's primed for peak performance day in and day out. In the next section, we'll zero in on the very first benefit. You'll notice an energy surge so natural and sustained, you'll wonder how you ever got through your day without it. Benefit number 1. Energy surge you can feel. Imagine waking up and feeling genuinely excited to tackle the day. No groggy fog, no desperate reach for caffeine. That's exactly what happened around day 3 of my trial. This herb seems to tap into your body's natural energy reserves, unlocking a smooth, all-day vitality. You know that mid-morning slump when your eyelids feel heavy and your brain moves like treacle? With this herb, it disappeared. Instead, I felt a steady uplift, like my internal battery was fully charged at sunrise and stayed that way. I found myself breezing through tasks, ticking off my to-do list without the usual lag between items. Here's the secret: by optimizing mitochondrial efficiency, the herb helps your cells generate more ATP, the fundamental energy currency your body runs on. Think of ATP as tiny biochemical coins that power every action, from firing neurons to contracting muscles. When you have more of them available, even routine activities feel breezier. On day 4, I noticed it most during my afternoon work session. Instead of staring blankly at my screen, I was writing with clarity and speed, answering emails in record time, and wrapping up projects that normally stretch late into the evening. It wasn't forced hyperactivity. It was a calm, sustained buzz, as though my body was finally running on premium fuel. By day 5, I experimented: no coffee, no pre-workout, just the herb. I felt just as alert and focused as any of my caffeine-fueled mornings, without the jitters or the crash 2 hours later. That's because this isn't a stimulant in the traditional sense. It's more like a catalyst, enhancing how your body produces and uses energy from the food you eat. Even simple moments: climbing stairs, carrying groceries, playing with my dog, felt infused with ease. I smiled more, laughed more, and realized I was moving through my day with a grace I hadn't experienced in years. If you've ever wished you could capture that beginning of vacation energy every single morning, this is it. No gimmicks. Just a natural surge that feels authentically yours, powered by centuries of traditional wisdom and backed by modern understanding of cellular energy production. Next up, we'll dive into benefit number 2. How this herb transforms your stamina, helping you push past limits you once accepted as permanent. Benefit number 2, stamina boost that lasts. Remember the last time you hit a wall during a workout or felt winded after a brisk walk? With this herb, those limits start to shift. By day 4 of my experiment, I noticed I could go the extra mile, literally and figuratively, without that pounding heart and burning lungs. This herb enhances oxygen delivery by supporting healthy blood flow. The flavonoids it contains help relax blood vessel walls, allowing more oxygen-rich blood to reach your muscles and organs. What does that mean in real-world terms? More reps in the gym, longer hikes on the weekend, and no gasping for breath when you chase after your grandkids. I tested it on a typical high-intensity circuit: burpees, jump squats, and kettlebell swings. Usually by round 2, my form collapses and my pace slows. This time, I powered through 3 full rounds with solid form, then even added a bonus set. My breathing remained controlled, and recovery between sets was noticeably quicker. But it wasn't just about physical workouts. On day 5, I volunteered to help a friend move heavy boxes up 3 flights of stairs. In the past, I'd dread tasks like that knowing my body would protest. Yet I hauled each box up with steady energy, feeling surprisingly fresh by the end. That sustained stamina translates into every part of life. Chores become less of a chore. Evening activities feel more enjoyable, and even mental endurance holds strong so you can stay sharp in back-to-back meetings or power through a demanding project without dragging. By the end of the week, I wasn't just stronger. I was built for endurance, and that consistent output day after day is the real game changer. No more peaks and plunges, just a reliable well of stamina you can draw from whenever you need it. Up next, benefit number 3. How your mind sharpens and distractions fade so you can tackle any challenge with laser focus. Benefit number 3, razor-sharp mental focus. Have you ever been mid-task and felt your thoughts drift, leaving you staring blankly at your screen? That scatterbrain feeling vanished around day 4 of my trial. Suddenly, I was in the zone. Emails answered in record time. Ideas flowing without interruption, and complex problems solved almost effortlessly. This herb supports cognitive clarity by boosting blood flow not just to muscles, but directly to the brain. More oxygen and nutrients mean your neurons fire more efficiently, so you experience less mental fatigue and fewer brain fog moments. It's like clearing smudges off a foggy window. Suddenly everything looks sharper. During one afternoon work session, I tackled a spreadsheet that normally takes me an hour of slogging through numbers. This time I completed it in under 30 minutes, spotted errors I'd previously overlooked, and even drafted a memo summarizing key insights. My usual mid-afternoon lull never appeared. Instead, I felt mentally sustained as though I'd had a second wind. It wasn't just productivity. Conversations felt more engaging too. On day 5, I joined a brainstorming call and contributed ideas seamlessly, confidently building on others' points without hesitation. I noticed I was listening more intently, catching nuances I'd typically miss. Part of this focus boost comes from the herb's adaptogenic properties. By modulating stress hormones like cortisol, it prevents the anxiety-induced jitters that scatter your concentration. You stay calm under pressure, able to think clearly whether you're tackling a deadline or navigating a tough conversation. I even tested it during a strategy session with friends where we debated complex scenarios for hours. Normally, I'd start drifting or zoning out after a while, but this time I stayed locked in, contributing valuable viewpoints right through to the end. So if you've ever wished for the mental stamina of a chess grandmaster or the unwavering focus of a seasoned surgeon, this benefit will feel like a revelation. It's not about turning you into a robot. It's about bringing out the best of your natural cognitive abilities so you can perform at your peak every day. Next, we'll hear from real users whose quick wins with this herb will have you convinced to give it a try yourself. Real users' testimonials. You don't have to take my word for it. Here's what others are saying after just 1 week. I felt like I'd swapped my old batteries for brand new ones. My energy skyrocketed. Mark 45 marathon runner. My afternoon slump disappeared. I'm more productive at work and still have energy for evening workouts. Sarah, 38. Project manager. I used to struggle with brain fog. Now I'm laser-focused from morning meetings through late-night study sessions. James, 52, grad student. Each testimonial highlights a different quick win, but the common thread is undeniable: more energy, better focus, and sustained stamina. Then there's Carla, 60, who told me I started walking with my husband again after years of slowing down. This herb gave me back my spring, and Tom, 68, who said I feel stronger during my golf game, my drive distance even improved. These are real people facing real challenges just like you. They tried the herb, tracked their progress, and saw measurable improvements in days. In our next section, I'll share how one simple addition, Nitric Boost, can take these gains even further, turbocharging circulation and endurance in harmony with the herb's effects. Natural performance hack. While this ancient herb laid the groundwork, I discovered a game changer that took my results to a whole new level: Nitric Boost. Think of it as the perfect teammate amplifying the herb's circulation and endurance benefits in a way that feels seamless. Here's how it works. Nitric Boost is a finely tuned tonic powder that enhances nitric oxide production, your body's go-to molecule for opening up blood vessels. When you combine it with the herb's natural vasodilators, you get double the support for healthy blood flow. That means oxygen and nutrients reach your muscles and brain even faster, so you feel the surge instantly. On day 5 of my experiment, I mixed a scoop of Nitric Boost into my morning herb infusion. Within 30 minutes, I noticed a distinct difference. My skin felt warmer, my muscles primed, and my mind alert, like I'd just kicked my performance into overdrive. During my workout, I hit a new personal best on my bench press, and mentally I was sharper than ever. But it's not just about the immediate kick. Nitric Boost contains key amino acids and botanical extracts that support long-term endothelial health. That's a fancy way of saying it helps keep your blood vessels flexible and responsive over time, so these gains aren't just a one-day wonder but a lasting foundation for peak performance. Using them together is simple each morning. Before anything else, stir 1 teaspoon of the herb and 1 scoop of Nitric Boost into water. Drink it on an empty stomach, then wait 15-20 minutes before eating or training. You'll feel the synergy, steady energy, razor-sharp focus, and stamina that carries you through your toughest challenges. If you're serious about accelerating your progress, this combo is the secret ingredient. It's the bridge between ancient wisdom and modern innovation, unlocking the full potential of both. In the next section, I'll lay out a step-by-step protocol for stacking these two powerhouses into your daily routine so you can reproduce my results and redefine what you thought possible. Synergy Protocol, combining herb plus Nitric Boost. To lock in these benefits every day, here's the simple protocol I followed. First thing each morning before breakfast. Measure 1 teaspoon of the ancient herb and 1 scoop of Nitric Boost powder. Stir both into 8-10 ounces of warm water until fully dissolved. Sip it slowly, savoring the earthy aroma. As you drink, visualize your blood vessels opening and your cells waking up. Then pause for about 15-20 minutes. Use this time to stretch lightly, practice deep breathing, or write a quick gratitude note. This quiet window lets the compounds absorb on an empty stomach, so their bioactives flood your system without competition from food. After 20 minutes, eat a balanced breakfast rich in protein, healthy fats, and whole food carbs. This fuels the mitochondria and sustains the energy boost. If you train in the morning, hit your workout 30-45 minutes after the ritual. You'll notice your warm-up feels smoother, your muscles primed, and your endurance surprisingly robust. For afternoon or evening workouts, a second half dose 1-2 teaspoon herb plus 1-2 scoop Nitric Boost mixed in water can be taken 30 minutes beforehand for another uplift. Keep hydration steady throughout the day. Aim for at least half your body weight in ounces of water. Adequate fluids help shuttle nutrients and maintain vascular health, reinforcing the vasodilating effects of both the herb and Nitric Boost. Consistency is key. Repeat this every morning and consider the optional pre-training boost on workout days. Within a week, you'll build a new baseline of energy, focus, and stamina that feels like second nature. In the next section, I'll share bonus lifestyle tips to supercharge your results even further without adding extra supplements or complex routines.